Dime qué tú quieres, papi. ¿Quieres que lo mueva para ti? Mueve, mueve. ¿Te gusta cuando me muevo así? Así. Mueve, muevo, mueve.
Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Hop, hop, jump, skip up on the floor. If they didn't know, then we gon' let them know. Drop low, giving them a show. We gon' give them something that they never seen before. Hop, scotch, 784. Bouncing on the beat while keeping the flow. Stop, watch, freeze, then go. Cock-a-doodle-doo is what you eating off the floor. Pop, lock, do it by yourself. You know you the best, you don't need nobody else. Rock, hip, toast to success. You was born a winner, so you never nothing less. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle,
Dime qué tú quieres, papi.
bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle,
¿Quieres
wiggle,
que lo mueva para ti?
bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle,
¿Te gusta
wiggle,
cuando me muevo así? Así.
bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle. When we come through, make you move just a little, clap, snap, do it from the hip. You can do this whether you stand or sit. Pump, fist, do it with your wrist. Pump it back and forth like you trying to catch a fish. Hip, twist, do a finger kiss. Rocking back and forth as you make your body shift. Top, tick, do it like you sick. 2 + 4 is 6, and that's a ripper thick. Top, 6, we gon' let it rip. We got your attention and we not gon' let it slip. So hands up, move your head and know what's up. Now it's shoulders rolling while you showing them your stuff. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Hey, you, we up in the place. We up in the place. We up in the place. Hey, you, make your body shake. Make your body shake. Make your body shake. Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle,
Dime
wiggle.
qué tú quieres, papi.
Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle,
¿Quieres
wiggle.
que lo mueva para ti?
Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle,
¿Te
wiggle,
gusta
wiggle.
cuando me muevo así? Así.
Bow, bow, rock, rock, shake, shake, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. We come through, make you move just a little, 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 just a little.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? We're back. More content for y'all. I'm supposed to have a guest later. I really hope they come through. It's going to be a special guest if they come through anyways, because it'll be a new person to the channel. And I'd love to hear their point of view and their, perspective and thoughts on some of the stuff that we talk about here on this channel. So today we're going to talk about a bit about Afghanistan. We're going to talk a bit about politics. We're going to talk a bit about the hurricane that's hitting Louisiana. That's right. That's just the state right next to us, and it's a big deal. And I see a lot of people are in town in Houston. I'm in Houston. I see it's a lot of people in town from different parts of Louisiana already. And so, yeah. So we're going to talk about that. And then, like I say, hopefully we can get our guest in and we're going to talk about different stuff, random stuff. So Let me see. What do I have for y'all? Oh yeah, I wanted to say at the beginning. I don't know if y'all saw the little back screen that I have on here. I don't want to take it to show it right now because something screwy happens when I do that sometimes. So, but the background was a clip from Redacted Tonight. It's a show that I like, and the title of it was Afghanistan was a big money laundering scheme. And I think that I talked about Immortal Technique a little bit in one of my previous videos. And Immortal Technique said in one of the songs, he said, basically all of the presidents of the United States are money launderers. And he said that lots of years ago. And I've been jamming that dude for a minute. And anyways, I did not get that when he said that. It sounded crazy talk, you know. I always hear people say stuff and it be like crazy talk to me, you know. And then years later, I learn more information and then I listen to the shit again and I'm like, oh wait, this dude was actually saying some shit that make a lot of sense that went over a lot of people's head that a lot of people just don't know because they haven't done any studying. And he has done a lot. So I'm going to play a video while I try to get my guests in. I didn't even get a chance to organize all this stuff, y'all, because I worked all freaking day today. I'm tired. My freaking feet hurt. But I'm here to give content for y'all. We're gonna keep it moving. So, but give me a second. I don't even know what I want to start with because I have some random stuff and I didn't put it in order like lately. I've been getting a lot better at these shows, y'all. For the people who've been watching me, it's watching me grow. I've been growing, getting a lot better. My editing is getting better, and I organize these shows. But today I'm a bit unorganized. So let's just start with this.
Officials in Louisiana are telling residents that the time to leave is over. They've got to hunker down where they are and start to get ready for this storm. Ida expected to make landfall early tomorrow afternoon, 16 years to the day Katrina hit the Crescent City. Our Robert Arnold is in New Orleans tonight. So, Robert, how are people handling things? How are they getting ready?
Well, first, I want to tell you, we've been following flood authority crews around for the last few hours as they've been closing these large gates here on Lake Pontchartrain because weather officials are predicting a large surge to come off of the lake. And yes, as you've been mentioning, they're telling people they need to be where they're going to be. The mayor, in fact, today said you need to be where you're going to be by midnight because she says come tomorrow morning, conditions are going to go downhill fast.
This is going to be bad. This is going to be the worst thing that happened to this parish.
Barry Rogers has lived in Terrebonne Parish for 63 years. Family ties in his fishing business are keeping him here.
Can't leave my father, and I can't leave my boat.
Mandatory evacuations have been in effect for Louisiana's southern parishes. Many shrimpers and fishermen brought their boats to Houma, hoping Ida's surge doesn't destroy their livelihood. For many, Ida's strength and predicted landfall are drawing too many parallels to Katrina.
Last time for Katrina, I lost everything. So I know the devastation about the storm.
Scott Williamson lives in Plaquemines Parish. The devastation from Katrina forced him to move his family to Oklahoma for 10 years. They finally moved back 6 years ago. They're evacuating now and hope they have a home to return to.
Home is home, you know. But if I lose everything this time, I'm not coming back. No, it don't make sense. I'm getting old and it don't make sense to come back.
Businesses are closed and gas pumps are dry. Louisiana now waits for Ida's arrival. In New Orleans, there wasn't enough time to call for a full-scale evacuation. Tonight, crews are busy closing levees and floodgates around Lake Pontchartrain.
They're expecting a 7-foot surge into the marina.
For Patricia Cave, seeing this gate close brings not a sense of dread, but protection.
Keep the surge either from coming in this way, if the surge comes through the marina, or what happened in Katrina when the 17th Street Canal flooded, which was less than a mile away. It actually kept our condominium safe from the flood waters coming in that way.
One other thing we learned about this entire process is the people who are on the other side of this gate are not stuck there. These stairs remain open, so people can walk out of the area if they need to. Reporting live from New Orleans, Robert Arnold, KPRC 2 News.
All right, Robert, stay safe out there.
He said, I can't leave my boat. I can't leave my boat. But I felt him when he said about his family members, can't leave them, his older people can't move around as much. Yeah, the hurricanes can be dangerous, especially for older people. And if you live in the floodplain or the area where the water is going to come, because we always know where the water is going to go. We always know. So, you get out of the way of that, or you get elevated, It's a serious thing. I got people out in Louisiana. My mom's people are from Lake Charles, Opelousas area. My ex is from Slidell. I mean, I've been to New Orleans multiple times for business and for music and other things. And like I like to tell people a lot of times that New Orleans is really our sister city. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, because even more, but has to be the comment with the link. They're our sister city, man. They're more than Dallas or San Antonio or Austin, any of those cities, even though those are in the same state with us. The people move back and forth between New Orleans and Houston, like very, very, very common. Probably more than to Houston to San Antonio or Houston to Austin or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to see the numbers, but I'm going to play another video because I'm still trying to get my guest on. He's having trouble. So we need to keep it on Hurricane Ida. And I fucking had this shit, but I don't have it in order.
But we begin tonight here at home with the urgent evacuations in Louisiana. Hurricane Ida expected to come ashore tomorrow, 16 years to the day after Hurricane Katrina. Millions in the danger zone, crowds packing the New Orleans airport, and massive traffic jams on the roads, people heeding warnings to get to higher ground. These live images you see here from the Lake Pontchartrain area. Residents boarding up, they're preparing. Forecasters saying the region could get up to 20 inches of rain in some areas. Ida now gaining strength in the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, expected to make landfall as a Category 4 tomorrow, bringing a dangerous storm surge, flooding rain, and powerful winds. Rob Marciano timing it all out for us in just a moment. But first, ABC's Victor Oquendo leads us off from Metairie, Louisiana.
Tonight, Ida rapidly intensifying and closing in on the Louisiana coast. More than 6 million Americans now under a hurricane warning. Ida already lashing parts of Cuba with high winds and heavy rain. New Orleans mayor warning residents,
prepare yourselves. If you're going to leave, you need to do that now.
Many heeding that advice. Large crowds at the airport, traffic jams across the storm zone as families evacuate. Our Trevor Alt is on Interstate 10 near the Texas-Louisiana border.
We're just crossing the state line into Louisiana, and look at all the traffic headed out of the state. We are 240 miles west of New Orleans. All of these people trying to evacuate into Texas.
Back in New Orleans, we met Izzy Ezzo boarding up his business, telling me he's worried about flooding.
We're just hoping that Monday morning comes, we're not calling insurance.
Hospitals here sheltering in place. Ochsner Health stocking up with at least 10 days of supplies, including fuel for generators.
With having so many COVID patients, with having our hospitals full, it's going to be a real, rough weekend. And hopefully it's not as bad as we're anticipating. But once again, we got to be prepared for the worst.
Ida set to make landfall 16 years to the day after Hurricane Katrina.
Covered in mud, 2 feet of sludge from Lake Pontchartrain and mold everywhere.
Cheryl Gross lost her house to Katrina. She's now planning on riding out Ida in the home she rebuilt.
There'll be damage, but I don't think it will be, I hope, not as devastating.
So many hoping for a different outcome this time around. Victor Oquendo joins us now from the 17th Street Canal on the edge of New Orleans there that breached during Hurricane Katrina. Victor, what are officials saying about the threat from Ida now?
New Orleans upgraded its flood protection system after Katrina, including the 17th Street Canal. Governor John Bel Edwards saying this is not the same state it was 16 years ago, but it is going to be tested. Whit?
It sure will. Victor, thank you. Let's get right to ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano. And Rob, when do we expect the Gulf Coast will start to feel the impact?
Well, this is moving quickly at 16 miles an hour. Tropical storm force winds in New Orleans likely before sunup, and it's rapidly intensifying right now. You see it on the satellite picture. That eye is developing. That's so frightening for all of us, and it's moving towards the northwest. The forecast track has not changed very much at all, and there's high confidence in this to land as a Category 4 storm tomorrow afternoon and still a hurricane early Monday morning as it cruises through Baton Rouge. We're going to see a tremendous amount of storm surge with this. Outside the levee systems, you heard it. It's going to be an inundation, 10 to 15 feet, but the winds with this will be destructive. Look at some of these estimates, over 120 in Grand Isle. Homa, I'm really afraid for you. New Orleans, you're going to be in the eye wall as well. This will be like a big tornado coming through this area, and Baton Rouge will get slammed too. Big time heat in the content in this ocean and this Gulf of Mexico. Climate change playing a part in this strength of this storm. Whit?
Well, I'll be following it very closely. Rob, our thanks to you tonight.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the...
Damn, I hope I don't get copyright.
Are we watching the news?
Say what?
We watching the news or something?
Yeah. I was watching that stuff on the hurricane. That's part of what I do on my channel. I show news clips and talk about them. So,
okay.
Yeah. I use them as transitions. I use them as opportunities to take potty breaks, all kinds of stuff. Because I be on here. I try to keep these shows at least 2 hours.
Then you got the suit jacket looking dapper.
Yeah, thank you.
I bet you ain't got no pants on at all. You just
hey, don't tell
down there.
Hey, they don't need to know that. Yeah, man. Just a little bit about the video I watched. It was Hurricane Ida. You know that the name kind of jumps out at me because, like Hurricane Ida, like I want to say we got hit by one before. And another thing is when I watched that video, I could see Houston over there on the map, like to the right side. And through my knowledge of hurricanes, like they don't really be their projections be really good, but sometimes the wind changes and the hurricane, it could easily just swing and hit us, here in Houston. And so because the thing is, Katrina was supposed to hit us. That big storm that tore New Orleans up was supposed to hit us, and at the last second, it switched and hit them.
Here's the thing about a hurricane, because we would miss weeks of school every year in South Louisiana from hurricanes. And it's the eastern wall is big, is wide, and the western wall is narrow. So say like a hurricane comes through like New Orleans, it's going to smack Gulf Shores, Alabama, and Biloxi, Mississippi. But whatever's to the west of New Orleans, say Homa, might not even get it, And it has to do with the rotation of the storm in the southern hemisphere. It's opposite.
Yeah, that's all
So
interesting.
as long as the storm's east of Houston, Houston's safe, basically.
Yeah, that's all interesting stuff. Yeah, prayers. I got a comment from someone. They said, my family is in Baton Rouge. Prayers for everyone that will be affected. We always feel like it's never what they say. We get complacent and party instead.
Man, Lake Charles has been getting it bad, dude. They can't even get a break to like rebuild before they're flooded again.
Well, climate change is real. I mean, people want to say it's not. They could call it global warming or whatever you want to call it. It's a real thing.
Whether it's man-made or not, the climate is changing. I mean, that's a fact.
Yeah, that's a reality that we all have to face. And, I was talking to somebody recently about this, that the human population, we always gather on the coast. And if you look around the world, all the big cities, big countries and everything are on the coast, and a lot of these places are going to be underwater as, that's what the projections are saying, So like those southern parts of Louisiana, they don't really have a future past, a certain number of years.
It's something like, I'm making up this statistic, but I've heard it before. Like some thousands of hectares of marsh get eroded every week or some shit between Florida and Louisiana. And My sister used to have this coffee mug where you pour hot liquid in it, and Florida would just disappear on that motherfucker because it was like, can we curse on here? My bad. Should I watch my
Yeah,
language?
no, go ahead.
Okay.
Totally
But yeah,
free
like,
here. The only thing I tell people not to talk about is freaking COVID and the damn jab, because YouTube shut my channel down for like a week after we talked about that shit. So I just avoid that particular subject.
yeah, no problem. Okay, good to know. COVID, and what's the other thing you said? The what?
The jab, just getting the shot, the
the vaccine. Okay.
The vaccine, yeah.
The jab. I ain't never heard of that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I just call it that. That's a good way of avoiding, because it's
Jargon.
trigger words. There's trigger words. So, anyways, go ahead.
That like off the bots of fucking whatever's watching this thing or whatever,
Right.
Red flag,
Right.
I got you. Who else is it? Just me and you in this thing?
Right now, yeah, it's just me and you. Yep.
Who normally does it?
Well, I have a few people that I do on a regular, but I'm trying to grow the page, and I really just want I want to have, I really want anyone who wants to give their commentary, because what I always say on my channel is that we can all learn from each other. And, that's what we're missing in society. A big part of what we're missing in society is communication with each other candidly, in a way that we can learn from each other, instead of just, we all have our little, our algorithm, our little echo chamber. Every last one of us, we can say that we don't, but we do. I do. We all do, on whatever social media or whatever news that you view on a regular basis. The algorithm knows that, and it keeps feeding you what you like. You know what I'm saying? So we're missing the internet. The algorithm is causing us to miss having real discussions on issues. We're and so we don't learn anything. We just keep on hearing the same rhetoric, the rhetoric that we like, and it just keeps coming, and then we just keep hearing that. No one's growing, no one's learning anything.
Just
and I think
going through life, interacting with robots, being told what we want to hear by fucking AI and shit.
Exactly. So we're not learning shit. So we need to have, and then like another part of this is that in public, it's not okay to have these kinds of conversations talking about race, politics, spirituality. You start talking about religion, and then people just lose their shit.
Yeah, politics too, man. I avoid politics like the plague, honestly. But I mean, unless it's an open-minded, reasonable person, and then I'm down to have a conversation with them. But
so this is the place for that, because we're all open-minded here, and I always want to hear everyone's. It doesn't matter what their opinion is or where they're coming from, because like I said, that is where people learn, because we don't know. One of the things is, I think a lot of people don't understand, is like socially conservative and economically liberal, or economically conservative and socially liberal. You know what I mean? Like,
sure, yeah.
What I mean is, no one falls completely liberal or completely conservative. No one does. No one.
Right.
And but they try to put us in the label so you can pick this box that you're in. But really, we all kind of in the middle somewhere. Some of us are closer to liberal or closer to Democrat, but we're all kind of like in the middle or whatever. We're
sure.
That's a box that and I think that's where a lot of people get lost too. They're lost in their box, thinking that they're a conservative or thinking that they're a liberal, but they really don't even know, because they haven't analyzed, their views and where they really line up.
Well, that's the like the downfall, the bipartisan nature of our country. Polarizing issues end up defining the left and the right. I mean, it's abortion. I mean, that is like the reason women vote Democrat. Reproductive rights. Rights to their own body, and like that's the reason. Like they may not care about something else, but go ahead.
And that's a hot button issue, and I've been covering that a bit, because I cover politics really heavy. And the thing is, I think that a lot of people don't understand is that the conservatives have made a lot of wins, with judges and the Supreme Court judges and so forth and so on across the nation. And abortion is possibly on its way out nationally.
Yeah, I don't
You
know how
know?
you feel about the issue, but I do feel like we're taking steps backward, man, like towards the Stone Age, at least in red states.
Yeah, I feel on that topic, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so yeah, I always try to stress with everyone that the subjects are nuanced, and you can't just put them all the. It depends on like right now we're talking about abortion, and yes, I think that we are kind of moving back because the fact about the whole reason why they made abortion legal is because women gonna do abortions anyway, and then it's unsafe for them and the child, and then sometimes you forget about the mom. What about the mom's life? And so the thing is that
That's all it's about, though, is the mom. It's about her body. It's ridiculous that it's ridiculous. Like you said, they're going to go get back alley abortions with a coat hanger, and that's graphic and gruesome and
it's so
terrible to think about.
dangerous, and
But yeah,
they die from doing this shit, and then a lot of times it's young girls, and it's
yeah.
just horrible. And that would be, like you said, going back to the Stone Age. But I feel that's where we're I mean, I don't see nothing the way the trends are. That's where we're heading as far as on the topic of abortion, because if it makes it to the Supreme Court, I feel most likely are going to be like, they may overturn Roe versus Wade or whatever. They may, add a stipulation or whatever. It's going to be heartbeat or some shit, and basically it's still going to be illegal.
Man, as far as I guess my two hot button issues would be because I care. Because of my ex-girlfriend. I see the way she has. I'm a feminist in most aspects, but also criminal reform. I guess women's reproductive rights and criminal reform would be the two things I care most about. And normally, the liberal candidate or the liberal side is where you would go, with those beliefs. But I feel like the current administration is just a letdown on both of those fronts. I mean, he's an old fart. He wrote half the laws that are keeping people in prison, for small time drug offenses and shit.
I don't know why people don't bring that up more often. That's so crazy. He basically wrote the crime bill.
Exactly, man. And then, I should know her name. I don't talk politics. The vice president. All right.
Kamala Harris.
Was she the DA in California?
Yes.
Yes. She prided herself on the amount of convictions she had.
And you wonder that these are the two that the Democratic Party, put up there to run. These were the best of the bunch. What the fuck?
Shit. Fucking Jamal had a fucking nickel bag, and he's in San Quentin for 25 years. Jesus Christ.
And they're still in there. They're still
Hell
in
yeah.
there.
The podcast I love most, the last podcast on the left, they do a lot for prison reform, man, for getting people out that are in on marijuana charges, just rotting away for no reason. I think that's important work.
Yeah, man. And that's what this channel is about. Another thing, because I say we want you to be an activist. I say that all the time. And I'm like, we want you to be an activist. We want you to go out into your community, find something that you feel is not right, and try to fix it. Just start the process of going against it and trying to fix it, and actual change, like real practical, physical, in the real world, and because I feel like the only way anything's going to change is going to be in the grassroots. We can't wait for the politicians to fix these things. You know what I mean?
How does the saying go? It's like, for evil to prevail, a good man just must do nothing, or something like that. You just stand by the wayside. You could talk all day, but if you don't do something about it, they're just going to keep doing what they want because they have the energy.
And the name of this stream is "Ignorance is the Grease of the Machine," or something like that. And what I mean is that people. And I was thinking about this pretty heavy today. Like, people being ignorant to the way the system works, it allows the system to work. Like, that's a fundamental part of the machine. Like, without that grease, the grease of people being ignorant, the machine would not work. And that explains a lot of things.
That's why things are written in such, confusing language, red tape, and it's meant to keep people from learning and from being able to take part, they keep those channels blocked and hidden behind every door. There's a concrete wall, and you got left, right, left, and you just get tired of it by the end of it,
And it also it keeps up that class structure, because the person that's making the 100,000 a year working their job, and then you got the person that's making 500,000 a year working their job, and then you got the people, you know, the lower ones, and then it's like each tier feels like the ones below them are just needs to do their work, like, or whatever. Like, I mean, I'm not finding the right words, but it's like they're servants. You know what I'm saying?
It's the proletariat. It's the proletariat, the class system, and the working class of the like Russia. You know, the whole nation is built on the back of the working class and the sweat of the proletariat, and the bourgeoisie, or whatever, the upper class, the upper crust. Like, 90% of the wealth owned by 1% of the people, and it just stays that way because it's old money and whatnot. But it comes down to like welfare, like okay, minimum wage is $7.25. You have people, you work in a 40-hour job, job at $7.25. You are not going to come close to the amount of money your welfare check is. So what is the incentive to get out and to bust your ass to make less money? Like, it's clear as fuck why people don't want to lose their government check. Like, I mean, it makes perfect sense. You have to be able to give people with no skills a livable wage for menial labor jobs, or else no one's gonna get off the government teat.
Well, I think it's give them skill. They always be talking about y'all don't have no skills, but like I say, and then first off, you got the education system not teaching nobody shit, kind of making them into factory workers where we don't even have factories no more. You know what I mean? These cookie cutter, and anyways. So, but what I mean is the way all the money we spend, like the military industrial complex and so forth and so on, all the money we waste, taxes and so forth, all these donations that we give to these organizations. Why do we have homeless people? Why do we have people out here who don't have skills? How come there's not systems set up for that? Do we not want to be like the backwater as country in the future? They're educating their people in other countries around the world. We're getting educated right out of the workforce. Very few of us are going to be even employable.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's confusing. It's hard, man. I mean, the government can only do so much. There is a component of like the shiftless nature of humanity, and some people are just not motivated, and that's a shame. But you're right. The educational system has failed us, and I mean, it's out there so talent is spread equally amongst everyone. Opportunity is not,
I agree with that 100%.
As a white dude with, my parents have stayed together and stuff, like I know I had opportunities that other people could only dream about, and I'm only a fucking server and I'm 30 years old. So, you're right. The system has failed us, Chaka.
And I think that people should be upset about it because everybody hurts, everybody suffers from a system that's like dystopian,
Yeah.
Even the
it's
people
not quite dystopian, but yeah.
Maybe I'm being extreme, but you know what I mean? Like, we all suffer as a consequence because like people feel like they are indifferent, and they also feel like the things that happen around the world or the homeless people they see don't affect them. But I like to say that it does, and I like to give evidence to people and really make them try to understand that we're all connected, and what's happening, it's like crime, right? And we talk about guns here in Texas. We love our guns here in Texas, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
And so, but that's our answer to crime is guns. But why do we have crime? So much crime. You know what I'm saying? What's driving that? Just people acting an ass? I think a lot of the crime is driven by poverty, right? People not having opportunities. So
people are frustrated because they can't provide for themselves and their family, and they go out and they take the easiest route, or what seems like the easiest route.
And I think if you gave these people other opportunities, I think that they would choose those rather than going out and doing much crime.
The majority of them would. You're right. The majority of them would.
So that's just the thing. I feel like we don't attack just like healthcare. We talk about the mask and the jab, but we're not talking about providing health care for people so that they don't get sick, so that they don't get us sick. You know, if we gotta care. This pandemic should have woken us up and made us realize that it matters if people are sick in another area. You know what I mean? Away from us. It could come and get to us. So we should want all these people to be healthy and have access to health care so that they won't get sick as much. So hopefully they won't get us sick. It's super
bring the next strain over. You know, every country's gonna have its own strain before long.
It's so sad, man.
And like the universal health care, that's an issue. Like, I mean, I just can't speak on these government program issues so much because, like, where does the money come from? You can only raise taxes so much. Everybody hates to pay taxes, you know.
No,
and
it's not.
Just
you don't have to raise the taxes. You don't have to raise the taxes. You just have to freaking stop all the waste, right?
Okay, so yeah, the Department of Defense and stuff. I mean, yeah, their budget is the waste is sickening.
It's sickening. Trillions of dollars. I've seen pictures of fields where they have old tanks and shit and fucking them big ass fucking jets and shit. They're just wasting fucking away. And then they build new ass fucking ships. Like I was watching some shit about like a new state of the art like attack plane that they made, and they spent this ridiculous amount of money, and by the time they got finished with it, they realized that it was obsolete.
The F-35.
I don't remember the name of it. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro.
I think it's the F-35. But if they say so, at the beginning of every war is lost. That's a saying, and it's because the beginning of every war is fought with last war's tech. So, like, at the beginning of World War II, the first years they're fighting with planes from World War I and tanks from World War I, and then it's the new line rolls out, and then that's when the carnage begins. And it's crazy.
And
Korea. Go ahead.
And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. It's like kind of like it's even like war games. It's as simple as that sometimes because they have new toys that they want to play with and they need an excuse to play with them.
Yeah. And it's like, why can't there's this something called brinkmanship, and that was what kept the USSR and the United States from killing each other during the Cold War. And it's the idea that they both have nukes. We both have nukes, right? We both have a whole bunch of them and we're ready to go at the drop of a hat. So if one of us nukes the other, it's mutual destruction. It's mutual insured destruction. And brinkmanship, we're both on the brink. Did my phone die? Son of a gun.
What happened? Can't hear you, bro. You dropped out. I'm gonna play Afghanistan. Yep. I didn't know he knew so much about politics. It was the one I really. Oh, here it
Now
is.
to the dangerous situation in Afghanistan. Today, President Biden warned that a new terror attack at Kabul's airport was highly likely in the next 24 to 36 hours. This as we're getting more details about last night's deadly U.S. airstrike. CBS's Skylar Henry has more now from the White House. Skylar?
Hey, Giada, good evening to you. The president also said in that statement the airstrike that killed 2 ISIS-K terrorists and injured another won't be the last. Defense officials adding this morning the U.S. will continue to defend itself with just 3 days to go before all of this is complete.
Very dangerous storm. We need not.
The president appeared before cameras today, providing a briefing on the danger posed by Hurricane Ida. But he didn't speak about Afghanistan. It was up to the Pentagon to reveal details about the deadly drone strike in Afghanistan's Nangarhar province. Officials say ISIS-K planners and facilitators were targeted and killed.
The fact that 2 of these individuals are no longer walking on the face of the earth, that's a good thing.
Officials say the move allows the U.S. to keep pushing ahead with the huge operation of getting Americans and Afghan allies safely out of the country by the end of the month, but said the threat remains.
Make no mistake, nobody's writing this off and saying, well, we got them, so we don't have to worry about ISIS-K anymore. Not the case.
President Biden releasing a statement this afternoon saying, quote, "We will continue to hunt down any person involved in that heinous attack and make them pay." Also today, the Department of Defense released the names of the 13 service members killed in Thursday's massive bomb blast. They include 23-year-old Marine Sergeant Nicole Gee from Sacramento, California. She posted this photo on her Instagram just 6 days ago as evacuees were preparing to leave Afghanistan.
We're not supposed to be at war. We're not supposed to bury our children.
The family of 20-year-old Lance Corporal Dylan Marola in tears, consoling one another after their Marine is gone.
He serves his country to the greatest of his extent and made the ultimate sacrifice for us.
The president called those fallen.
Hello?
Yay.
Hey, my fucking phone died. My bad.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, I got 2 phones. I turned the other one.
Yeah, I got an echo right now.
Do you? Maybe that's why.
Yes.
Is it better now? Better now?
Yeah.
Better now. It's a different phone. Maybe this phone is shitty.
I think
Still echoey?
it's still a little bit.
Well, look, I'm gonna leave and then I'm gonna turn the other phone on, the one that was working fine. Okay. I'm gonna come back in on that one.
Yeah. Man, so y'all see that the drone strikes, right? I swear, I feel like they're trying to lead us into World War III, man. We don't want no fucking World War III, bro. What the hell, you know? Why can't we just leave Afghanistan and let them people deal with this shit, right? It's gonna be a mess regardless. Them people should be dealing with their shit in the first place. We should have never went over there in the first place. We can't fix a mistake with a mistake. We shouldn't have went over there in the first place. No matter how we leave, it's gonna be shitty. So we should just leave and let them people deal with their shit. They're gonna deal with their shit. It's gonna be drama over there. But we got drama over here. We need to be worried about this. And we're spending so much money. And look, losing lives. We lose money. For what? The Afghan people don't even want us over there. They don't want us over there. They don't like us.
Yeah, Lucas.
John, did the Taliban in any way provide any intelligence or any support with this drone strike that killed those 2 ISIS terrorists?
I'm not going to talk about intelligence matters one way or the other.
Rule it out.
I'm not going to talk about intelligence matters one way or the other.
Taliban supporting this drone strike in any way?
We had useful intelligence on our own to conduct this strike.
Do you consider the Taliban and the Haqqani network separate entities?
Lucas, I'm not going to give you a breakdown here, a characterization of the Taliban or Haqqani. Now, Lucas, you got to remember what we're focused on here, and that's on getting more people out and getting our troops out, completing this mission. And I'm not sure what benefit it does for me to try to characterize one group or another. We know that the
people that the deputy leader of the Taliban is Surgeon Haqqani, who has a $10 million bounty on his head. People should know. Are these separate entities, or
we know that there is a certain matter of commingling here. I mean, there's a marbling, if you will, of Taliban and Haqqani. What I'm pushing back a little bit on you, Lucas, is the relevance of that discussion to what we're trying to do today, which is complete an evacuation safely and to get our troops and our forces at the airport out safely. That's what we're focused on.
One more question. Every major newspaper and television news outlet has said that the U.S. military brass recommended to the president to leave 2,500 troops in Afghanistan, not pull out. Have you asked any of those outlets for a correction?
I'm sorry, say that one again.
Every major newspaper and television news outlet has reported that top Pentagon brass, from the Defense Secretary to the head of U.S. forces in the Middle East and Afghanistan, to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, recommended to the president that 2,500 U.S. troops should have stayed in Afghanistan, not been pulled out. Have you asked any news outlet for a correction to those stories?
Thanks for repeating it. We don't make it a habit to talk publicly one way or the other. Right, wrong, up, down, more or less, about the advice and counsel that Pentagon leaders give the commander-in-chief.
What about correcting the record?
Louis.
What kind of answer was that? Why they can't never answer fucking questions, bro? Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Asking you a straight up fucking question, you wiggling around the shit. So, are y'all leaving? Are y'all going? Are y'all gonna leave 20,000 troops there? Or are y'all just gonna cover they talking about moving the embassy to the airport? So it sounds like they're gonna be covering the airport. Or you're just gonna cover the airport? You're gonna have troops there and make sure that the airport doesn't get taken over by the Taliban? Is that what y'all saying? What are you saying? What the fuck? Like, people, we asking you questions, answer the damn questions, you know? But that was them damn Pentagon CIA motherfuckers. You know, they never gonna freaking tell you anything. I don't even know why they freaking even try to ask them shit. Where's my guess?
As you know, 2 suicide bombers assessed to have been ISIS fighters detonated in the vicinity of the Abbey Gate at Hamad Karzai International Airport and in the vicinity of the Baron Hotel, which is immediately adjacent. The attack on the Abbey Gate was followed by a number of ISIS gunmen who opened fire on civilians and military forces. At this time, we know that 12 U.S. service members have been killed in the attack, and 15 more service members have been injured. A number of Afghan civilians were also killed and injured in the attack. We are treating some of them aboard HKIA. Many other Afghan civilians have been taken out to hospitals in town. We're still working to calculate the total losses. We just don't know what that is right now. Their loss weighs heavily on us all, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through my prepared remarks. We continue to focus on the protection of our forces and the evacuees as the evacuation continues. Let me be clear, while we're saddened by the loss of life, both U.S. and Afghan, we're continuing to execute the mission. Our mission is to evacuate U.S. citizens, third country nationals, special immigrant visa holders, U.S. Embassy staff, and Afghans at risk. Despite this attack, we are continuing the mission. The evacuation at best speed, and as of today, we have approximately 5,000 evacuees on the ramp at HKIA awaiting airlift. Since August the 14th, we've evacuated more than 104,000 civilians from HKIA, over 66,000 by the United States, and over 37,000 by our allies and partners. And that includes bringing out about 5,000 Americans. As the Secretary of State said yesterday, we believe that there are about 1,000, probably a little more than 1,000 American citizens left in Afghanistan at this point. We're doing everything we can in concert.
The whole thing sounds so fucking fishy, bro. So fucking fishy. I swear, I feel like they said ISIS-K did a suicide bombing. So the thing is, like, you saw how the media kept going on and on. Poor Afghanistan, the women in Afghanistan, Taliban is taking over Afghanistan. How can we just let it's so embarrassing? Yada yada dee dee dee. And then a damn suicide bomber blows up and kills Marines and civilians and Afghanis and even Taliban people. So, like, you know, I don't want to say the U.S. is behind some shit like that, but I don't. A contracted by the U.S. could be, but hey, hypothetically, you know, it would be perfect, right? That way they can go back in. It's an excuse to go back in Afghanistan, continue to occupy Afghanistan. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying.
Well, President Trump had actually decreased the troops from 15,000 to 2,500, not one casualty. President Trump's... But there was a deal to withdraw. It wasn't this deal. I think Mike Pompeo and President Trump have been very clear about this. Even the former Secretary of Defense have been very clear about this. There were requirements that had to be met. You watch time and again, whenever the Taliban did not meet the requirement, there was ramifications for that. Quick, swift, and very difficult. The other thing that you'd have to think about in the Taliban, they watched this president time and again with a crisis. Back away from Putin, ransomware, pay it, China. Provide them. I just read a report before I walked out here. Allow Huawei chips to be sold. The idea that Russia could have their pipeline, but America cannot. I felt they think they were more emboldened. And as they moved city to city, I know for a fact that President Trump wouldn't allow that. That didn't meet the requirements. And for the President Biden to sit back in an interview and say nothing went wrong, that's a telltale line. And that you plan for every scenario, well, whoever started planning this should have stopped when this scenario started. Lives are going to be lost. The president has now ruined our reputation on the world stage, not for a week, but for decades to come. Our own allies are criticizing us. Our own allies who are sitting there defending us because America was attacked, asking us to extend the deadline so they can get their own citizens home, not for any other reason. And the allies that we have fought for years together, he said no and yes to the Taliban. So no, none of that would have happened under a different administration. And yes, that was a failure. One of the biggest failures I watched from a foreign policy in my lifetime. And it's going to do a lot of damage to us. Not just in a short run, but a long run. What does China believe now about...
Hey, you there?
Hey, Ian. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No more echo?
No echo.
It said if there's an echo to wear headphones, so I guess I could do that if I need to.
It sounds good now, bro.
Okay. Yeah, it's that other phone, I guess.
What do you think about the Afghanistan stuff?
I don't know much about it, man. Like, when I was younger, I honestly equated the Iraq situation and the Afghanistan situation to be one and the same. But now I know that, I mean, those are two different cultures. Like, I mean, you have Arabs and Arabian folk in Iraq, and then Afghanistan. I mean, that's almost closer to an Indian type of people, I guess. I mean, they're tribal mountain folk. I don't know.
Polar differences. Polar
sure.
differences.
It's still Muslim, but yeah. My parents, they met each other in Tehran. That's where they went to high school back in the 60s. And they got kicked out of Iran, their families, when I don't know if you know anything about Iran and the Iranian hostage crisis and all that, but Ayatollah Khomeini came in 69 or 70, and all the Americans had to leave. And that's when Iran went like back thousands of years, basically, into like religious law, you know, back to the women have to wear the full hijabs or whatever, and you get stoned to death and all that jazz.
That's kind of
what happened
in Iraq and Afghanistan. Go ahead.
Just before that, apparently it was pretty like progressive, you know. Iran was.
Iraq was like that too before we destroyed it. They were pretty secular too. They were pretty freaking progressive too.
Yeah. Under Hussein?
Yep.
He was doing good things for their country.
Well, you know, the thing is, what people have to understand is that, you know, we don't understand other cultures. You know, that's one of the things about being American, and it's like it's a privilege that we have. We have the privilege of being ignorant of everyone else's culture, and then we try to adapt our culture on other people's, not and being totally ignorant of their culture. So it's like it's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we don't understand. You know, we have to understand the peoples of Iraq, of Syria, you know what I'm saying? Lebanon, Iran, you know.
A friend of mine is applying at Outback, and he's half Syrian. His dad is from Syria. And he's just got views that I've never I've never known anybody. He's a good buddy of mine now. But like when that whole thing with Hamas was going on with Israel, you know, in America, you just hear, we back Israel to the day we die, you know, and he just told he had the opposite view, you know, he looks at Israel like they're bullies, you know, and Hamas, you know, they're doing the best they can. They both. Showed me the argument or whatever that both peoples can trace back their ancestry to that land that they fight over, that Holy Land, the Gaza Strip, for thousands and thousands of years. You know, like it's no cut and dry. It's this person's or that person's.
Well, I would disagree on that, but because it's,
in what way?
Oh man, I don't know if we really want to. I don't even know if this is a proper subject, but because I study this stuff, so like,
yeah, but tell me, I want to learn. Like, I don't know. I'm ignorant when it comes to it.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Where a lot of them, that's the whole thing. What I was saying just previously, Americans were so ignorant of what's really going on over there, and then we just get these images that they give us, and it's all one-sided. So I mean, actually, the Palestinians can trace their heritage back much further than any of the
Israelites.
Yeah, because I mean, but it depends on how you look at it too, because then some people want to look at it through just a biblical type of way, like straight like the Jewish religion type of way. So, but you can't argue that stuff, because that's some stuff somebody wrote in the book, and then it's like, this is what it says in the book, so we're gonna go by that, and then so you can't really argue with that. That becomes a problem. But if you just look at the history of the actual peoples and their lineages and so forth, those Palestinian people are natives to that area of the world, and their lineage go way back.
Where the Jews come from?
It's really complicated. I mean, they wanted to create a Jewish state, because what happened with the Holocaust and Hitler and all of that. So,
but I mean, Israel was around before 1945.
No, 1942, I think, is when you first start. It was a civil war, and basically they started occupying Palestine. They have way better. I mean, it's.
But the Bible talks about Israel, right? The Bible talks about Israel, right?
It does. So that's the thing. Like I say, that you can't. That causes problems with this argument, because I like to keep things separate when I talk about something that's academic and then something that's more spiritual or religious or whatever. Because the thing is, I can't say the Bible is academic, and it might make people upset, but I'm sorry. And I can't say the Kabbalah is academic. I can't say the Quran is academic. I'm sorry. There's too much allegory or whatever in there. There's too much like theory or whatever in there, however you want to say it, hyperbole. I can't call that academics. You get what I'm saying? So when the subject of Palestinian and Israel, I like to keep it in the realm of the academic and totally historical events and stuff. You get what I'm saying?
Right. I do, but like, as far as like historical resources and sources, I mean, what do you have, like, besides these ancient books, these religious books? That it's a collection of stories, of metaphors for a way to live a proper life. It's a lot of that stuff isn't what it says, but I don't know. I mean, I would assume there has to be some truth to the stories, like, for themselves, like the things that can happen in this real plane of existence, like.
And that's why this whole thing, this is why it's so complicated in a nutshell right here. Like our little conversation that we just had is a little microcosm of the argument, because it's become so muddled, mixed with history and religion, that that's why I say I really prefer to talk about one or the other, because that's the reason why the whole thing, and then it gets so heated. It becomes so heated, especially when you add in the Bible or the Kabbalah, you know what I'm saying? Or the Quran.
Yeah. What's the Kabbalah?
That's the Jewish
the Torah.
the tour. Yeah, the tour. I'm sorry. I'm calling it the Kabbalah because the Kabbalah is that it's the shape
The scroll thing, the big scroll thing.
that's on there. That's on the Torah. It's on the front of it. It's the
Oh, the Hebrew character.
yeah, it's like a character, but it's
okay.
Yeah, my brain. I'm sorry, and I've been smoking too, and I always be doing that shit where I be saying one word when I
That's
mean
okay. It's
when
okay,
I mean
man.
something
And like,
else.
yeah, you by all means, put a stop to me if I muddle stuff up. But I don't have any. I don't cling to a camp, so you can't upset me. I'm just interested to learn.
Yeah,
And
it's just a really sensitive subject for a lot of people.
Sure.
And so the thing is 1942 or 1943, I think I want to say, and I could be wrong with those dates, but it was like a civil war over there. And that's what happened. And it was Israel because see, Israel wanted to create a Jewish, well, there wasn't an Israel at this time. The Jewish people wanted to create a Jewish state for all people of Jewish, in the diaspora to have a safe place to go where they can be sure that they won't be persecuted in the future, and in case some shit like Hitler happens again. And that's a fair thing, That's a fair thing, and that's why they spend so much money on the military. They have like some of the most high-tech late equipment, you know what I'm saying? They buy a lot of it from us too, and that's another thing that people don't understand about the relationship that we have with Israel. We sell them guns, bullets.
I feel like we're tied to them till death do us part. You know what I'm saying?
Because of the prison industrial complex. That's the real reason, and that's what
Really?
people don't. Well, it's more to it than that, but that's the big money part because they sell them helicopters and freaking.
Oh yeah. Would they have the Abrams tank, the same tank that we have?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's our American companies that are providing all that shit. You know that last time, well, I don't know, because you say you don't cover it, you don't know this stuff, but not that long ago, they had basically a little war happened, kind of. I don't know what they called it, but between Hamas and Israel. And
You're talking about like
Hamas,
2 months ago? Talking like 2 months ago?
No, it's been. Damn it, bro! Since Corona, I can't have a bad.
With all the rockets, you talking about the Hamas launching rockets willy nilly?
Right.
Yeah, that's when I learned whatever I know about it. Well, that's when my buddy Rashad gave me his piece on it.
Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about what happened. So they were, Israel. They have what they call the Iron Curtain, and it's yeah. So it's basically a missile defense system where they shoot down the missiles as they come. So
yeah, we have that too.
Yeah. So the thing is, though, but like I say, they have high tech. That's high tech as fuck. Like nobody has that. But anyway, or anything close to it. But the thing is, the Hamas people, they have old ass Soviet ass fucking like mortars or some shit. Like
yeah, they have bottle rockets over there.
Yeah, they have some really old ass shit from like World War I or some shit that they use. And fucking so but they didn't know Israel didn't know how coordinated they could be even with that. So they were super coordinated and they did that because it was a retaliation from the shit that they was doing. Israel, it wasn't just Hamas just doing this shit out of the blue. They
Is Hamas a terrorist organization?
If according to Israel, yes.
What about according to us? Are they up there with like ISIS or Taliban, whatnot?
Man, that is so much.
I'm sorry, Shaka. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
That is a bunch of subjects at once because ISIS. They had to.
I know Taliban and ISIS hate each other.
Man, it's so much to explain. That's why they got this ISIS-K shit now because they had to.
Yeah.
They had to acknowledge that ISIS wasn't really real. It was funded by Israel and the United States. They found it's been evidence of this, bro. It's like controlled opposition. That's the reason why they had to change the name and all that shit. Somebody
Where you
called
learn
it.
all this stuff, Chalk? You learn this in school, or you just do research?
I do research, bro. I do research. I'm on YouTube all day, and I'm on politics all day. I think it was Putin. He called it Israel. I mean, the Israel security system. Damn it, I can't remember what he said. It was
Putin was
so
making fun of it. He made an acronym for ISIS.
yes, and it was so fucking perfect. And you know,
Putin,
that's
he
the
make
thing.
acronym.
That's the thing. They demonize everything. Putin. What I always try to say, what people gotta understand is like Trump. Trump was a bad good guy or a good bad guy, however you want to look at it. The thing
He
is,
was a
just
sideshow
like
actor.
well, that too. But
In the
the thing
beginning,
is,
at
what
least.
we have to understand, we can't sanctify anyone. We can't really vilify anyone. We all, you know, just like the liberal Democrat thing I said earlier, we're all evil and good, or good and evil. You get what I'm saying? Good bad guys, bad good guys. That's what we have to realize. So if we don't want to listen to nothing that Putin says, and we just vilify anything that he says, then we're missing a whole bunch of freaking information. And I'm not saying he's a good guy. He's really a tycoon, like a oil tycoon. He's really like a big business, like dictator, fucking bourgeoisie type. You know, that's what he is. So, but
Trump? You saying Trump is?
oh no, I was talking about Putin at that
Oh,
time.
sorry. I went to the kitchen. I burnt my bread. Damn, off that cake.
Man, that can be taken for a lot right there. Like, people can take that as a lot, man. But I mean, if people really want to know, look at the news from those places. That's all you have to do. There's access to it. I get it through YouTube, but the best way is articles. You can go to the local article, like newspaper or whatever magazine that a country has, and probably look at 2 or 3 of them and compare. What I always try to tell people to do is whatever news story you looking at, look at it from like 3 different sources. These sources need to be opposite of each other too. Like go MSNBC and then go Fox, and then go CNN, or then
pick
go
out the middle of the road. You know, the stuff that
and then go an independent type of news source, and then compare all that, and now you got something. You know what I'm saying?
Because, that's a good idea, though. Like, get closest, like you said, the local paper. You know, wherever the event is, wherever it happened in the world, try to get closest to it. You know, like whatever media source you can consume closest to the event.
They ask you to pay now for subscriptions because you know I research. That's really what I do, and it's tough. They made it getting harder and harder, and to get that kind of source material, you have to pay for it.
Yeah, you use a database or something.
No. What I'm saying is they'll ask you to subscribe to each one of those little magazines and
whatever. I've noticed that just like Googling stuff, man. You can't read a freaking article anymore. You get one, and then
once you get halfway through the article, then the page like starts blocking, and then
do you want to keep reading? Yeah, I want to keep fucking reading, man. What are you talking about?
It's so annoying. It's so annoying.
It really is.
Yeah. So yeah, I read a lot of news. So yeah. And that's what I do, and you know, I watch a whole lot of YouTube. So, and I've been studying this stuff for a long time on my own. You know, I go to the university, and I'm an anthropology student, so I get to study shit that I want to study there. But I'm always studying whatever the fuck interests me at the moment. You know, and
anthropology, man, that is awesome.
Yep, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So,
have you? I'm sorry.
Let's get some, like, what do you think about Trump? Tell me what you think about Trump.
Oh man. So my parents are conservative, but they're smart people. They're not, you know, they know there's 2 sides to every coin, you know. They are baby boomers and white folks, and that's how I was raised. But and then I don't hate Donald Trump. I don't hate him like I don't think he's an evil person. I think he's a buffoon. I just think he's a buffoon, and he was rich, and now he's butthurt, and he's not rich anymore, and his plane's just not moving because he can't afford to fly it, and like poor Donald Trump. And yeah, he's a fucking a sore loser, that's for sure. And
Yeah, but what I mean about Trump, I don't mean him as a person. I mean the phenomenon of Trump. You know, like the backlash of Obama being president, the first black president, and then Trump running for president and using dog whistles to ram up his base and kind of consolidating.
You're talking about being like a fearmonger?
Yeah, and he kind of consolidated the right, and he basically took over the Republican Party still to this day.
I feel like he fragmented the right.
Maybe, but he leveraged let's say he did fragment it. If he did, he leveraged a good portion of it to his will, and they are consolidated now better than they were before, and their power is strong as fuck.
He brought the far right out of the closet.
I really believe they're the minority, overwhelming minority in America, in the United States, but their power is strong.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that, because like not even the right, just when you look at like, so the majority of America is white folk, right? But there's more minorities than the majority, you know, it's like we're the majority minority, like, because even though there's more white people than black people, there's more brown people than white people, you know?
We was talking about in our other show just yesterday about that term minority, because I think as black people or people of color, when they take on that title of minority, they are taking on a title that puts them in a submissive position, you know?
Sure, it marginalizes right off the bat. Yeah.
So, and you know, so those labels I think are really important, and I think that people should kind of pay attention to that.
What about these new Jim Crow laws?
This live, Kevin, what's up? What's up? Whoever you are, go ahead. What'd you say?
The new Jim Crow laws. I'm calling them Jim Crow laws, but
there's old. I mean, well, we just talked about the crime bill. You could call those Jim Crow laws.
The what bill?
The crime bill. Joe Biden.
Yeah. I'm talking about the voter registration reform or whatever, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, Texas, you know, recently Texas legislature, the Democrats left and they went to Washington, D.C. because they couldn't go into session without them. And they were trying to pass these the basically voters suppression laws. You know, it would make fewer locations to vote, less early voting, less weekend voting. Like I think it was like no Sundays or some shit like that. And it also stricken the IDs. So
yeah,
you have to,
I think that's the big thing, right? Is like, I don't know, they do it in the name of voter fraud, but what it really is a thinly veiled attempt to keep colored people out of the polls, right?
Exactly. And it's the same thing that's been happening historically.
Yeah, that's what Jim Crow laws were. You know?
Yeah, that was part of them. I mean, there was a lot of things going on with that. But you said something that I wanted to what was it? What did you say? I wanted to expound on something. It was what did you just say?
About the ID thing, about keeping thinly veiled thing to keep colored people out of the polls?
Yeah, and the stricter ID. And basically though, damn it, I forgot what I was gonna say, bro. I lost it. I completely lost it.
That's the first time in my life I ever said colored people. That's crazy.
Yeah, why the hell did you say that, bro?
The
You're
colored.
making it all weird.
Are people listening to this?
Yeah, we got at least one person listening right now.
Bro, I've burnt my bread all to smithereens. It's got a bunch of crumbs everywhere. Oh.
Yeah, so the Texas legislature, so they're gonna have to, and they're gonna push that stuff through. I don't even know what happened yet. I've been so busy. I don't know what has happened recently with that. So, but like, just make fewer people be able to vote. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, and what about what the focus really should be about our voting system, right? You said the voter fraud, right? So then we should be talking about making it the way we vote more secure as far as like our systems. Like we have these old ass machines. When was the last time you went to go vote? You got this damn thing, it goes click, 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 click. You got to scroll through this whole fucking thing. Like this machine looked like it was made in 1980. I'm sure
It's like a dunking booth.
I'm sure a kid with his cell phone could hack it. This is trash.
Yep.
So I'm very concerned that after all that shit, nobody is talking about how we vote, like the machines we use, the systems with the ballots, and all of that. Instead, they're talking about who is voting. Like really, it was people voting multiple times. Like really, that's really what happened.
Don't think so.
That's crazy talk. It's crazy talk. Everybody
It's
knows
manipulation of the thing, not the
exactly. That's what I was about to say. Like the way they gerrymander the districts. That's really what it's all about. The way they draw up the districts. And guess what? The census just came out. And then I was talking about in another video that people of color, black people, Hispanics, we don't really fuck with the census too heavy. You know what I'm saying? We don't like the government like that, and we don't trust them in our business like that. So a lot of us don't feel like we don't fill out the census. So we are underreported in the census, and they know that shit. And then anyway, so the census came out, and so now guess what they get to do? They get to draw up new districts based on the new numbers from the census
that don't truly represent the foundation.
And so that whole thing, I wish people knew more about gerrymandering and redlining and all that shit, man.
Yeah.
I'll do a fucking.
That's a term I remember I learned in, I think, the 3rd grade, and it's just stuck with me forever because it sounds like salamander. But
salamander, that's where they got it from because it's the shit. It was a funny little shit.
Yeah, he drew a district that looked like a salamander. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a weird ass shape, and that's what they used.
But it was the dude's name was Jerry, right? Was there a guy named Jerry drawing up the fucking things, or his last name was Jerry something?
Oh, don't give me the line on that shit.
I think it was something like that.
It had to do with the shape. I think it totally had to do with the shape of it because it was such an odd ass shape, and they was like, "Why would you fucking draw some shit up like this?"
Right, like a salamander. But then the Jerry came, like Jerry drew a fucking salamander, a gerrymander.
It could be.
I doubt it's the name Jerry. I don't think anybody was named Jerry when that shit was created. But
I don't remember those details. I always block. You know, the thing is, I've taken a million fucking classes. And the thing is, like I was talking about before, about the American system of education, they teach us dates. They teach us people's names and their birth dates. And they teach us freaking capitals and states. And you know what I'm saying? That shit is like, that's nothing. That's memorizing trash. It's a bunch of damn extra space in my mind, and I don't fucking care to remember that shit. So like I say, the thing is, like I say, they make us remember all these fucking, and I purposely be trying because, like, the thing is, I'm talking about. Let's move on to a spirit. Let's move on. We've been talking for a while now. We're over an hour. Let's move on to like a spirit. We've been talking politics. Let's move on to a spiritual topic because they keep talking about the, hold on, I lost my train of thought. what was I saying? I said that they what did I just say? I'm
You
sorry.
said let's move on to a spiritual topic. You said they
Yeah,
keep
but before
talking
that,
about
yeah. I'm listening.
gerrymandering. You don't like to hear about like states and capitals and people's names,
Oh,
birthdays. It's take up space in your brain.
yes, take a space in my mind and remembering those dates. And that's like, they make us remember the national anthem and they brainwash us with that shit. So that becomes like a spiritual thing, man. It becomes like pulling at your spirit. You know what I'm saying? And the egotistical thing about humanity, as far as we worship man, I think, and in all of the religions, we really worship in ourselves, is worshiping the mirror. And that's why in history and all in school they teach us to remember these people's freaking name. So it's like a way for them to live forever. You get what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like
it's legacy.
yeah. So it's a way for them to, like I say, to live forever. So we're supposed to worship these people like George Washington, whatever names, John F. Kennedy, whatever names, and then they make statues of these people, and it's like they live forever. So it's like I say, that's again like they make us remember the day they was born. They remember us, the town they grew up in. I took a music appreciation class, and half the damn class was remembering these damn British Eastern European fucking
composers.
Their fucking and the name of their fucking concerto or whatever the hell, and the name of their name, the place where they were born, and the year they were born, and when they died. Like this is half the damn test. What the freak? What does that got to do with anything?
Yeah, you're not appreciating the music. You're just learning fucking about the dead dudes.
And we did listen to their music, but anyway, so what do you think about that as far as the spiritual side of man worshiping man? And that's the reason why in history we Alexander the Great, Attila the Hun, all these, even we like evil people, like even like we demonize people. So Hitler. So we remember these names. So tell me what you think about that, the spiritual side of that.
So I'm trying to see what you're wanting from me. So like, okay, as far as like we worship man, we worship ourselves. So yeah, that's obvious. Every religion, their deity is a man, right? Like the furthest from that would be the Hindu religion, because they got some crazy 8 arms, but most of them are still people, A Judeo-Christian God, he's these old white man with a long beard. Buddha is a dude. But the Greek religions or whatever, Zeus, they're all just dudes, man. And I guess that goes back to like a narcissistic complex, just like if we could all just have an exact copy of ourselves, we would probably just stay at home and mutually masturbate all the time, just because we love ourselves so much,
Whoa, that's a specific way of loving yourself right there.
That's self-love in its most pure form, man.
But I mean though, like, so how do we break free from that? What I mean is like, do you agree?
So tell me what's the downside of that?
Well, what about 1984? What do you know about that? That book?
George Orwell's book?
Yeah.
I read it.
Okay, so then that kind of relates, right? Nationalism and totalitarianism, brainwashing, propaganda.
Yeah, and I see. This is something I said earlier that I don't really have opinions, but this now you kind of like you lit a fire, like, because I was in band, right, in middle school at least, and we had a band director, and man, it was just too much, man. And I pushed his buttons and he pushed my buttons, because I'm hard headed, and if someone tells me not to do something, I'm just gonna do it anyway, just to piss you off. And like he would not let us stand up to say the pledge, and I didn't mind it. I've always been like, patriotic, fucking Joe Blow or whatever. I like America. I do like America. I don't like the people running America, but I still believe this is one of the greatest places to live on the earth. We can do this right now, Chaka. But
I agree with that.
Yeah. So like him trying to stomp out the patriotic streak, that felt like totalitarianism. That felt like brainwashing. When everybody's standing up, that is a little like Hitler Youth. Put your fucking hand on your heart and say these words. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with having a little school spirit. I say school spirit. Loving where you're from.
Yeah, but where is the edge on that, bruh? I'm sure those people over there, the SS fighters, felt exactly the same way. There wasn't no harm in this.
Well, okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting because I always think about that too. Like, we had a German exchange student my senior year, and he ended up playing on our soccer team, and he came with us on senior trip, and he got really drunk one night and just went into it about like Nazis, like what Nazis did to Germany and like the world's view on Germany to this day. Like you talk about Germany, everybody's head goes to World War II. And I mean, Germany is an industrious nation. They're the perfect model of socialism. They're like running like a Swiss clock, even though they're German, but they still have that stigma and that mar that, that what, 20 for the 15-year period, however long, 29 to 45, whatever long the Nazi party was around.
And it's not fair. It's not fair because, I mean, they still know German engineering and they probably, the damn machines that go to space, they probably make them shits too. And the best cars right now, they still make those. They have some of the best scientists still to this day. So
Operation Paperclip. I mean, we chose to not prosecute Nazi criminals of war so they could come over here and use their brains to send us to the moon before the Russians. Werner von Strom or whatever.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that. So then look, let's go back though of what you said about the image that we all have, and then this image is worldwide too. This is not just America, but the people over there know the nuance of it. But all around the world, Hitler, Germany have this image of just being horrible, right? That's propaganda,
and it is because like you mentioned the SS. Okay, now that the SS, they're the ones that had the streak. Those are the bad Nazis. Like, but then you have the regulars or whatever, the German regulars. Like, they're just fighting for their country. Yeah, they are Nazis because they can't be in the army and not be a Nazi. But they're not at concentration camps per se. They're on the front lines doing what our guys were doing. Not every German soldier was killing Jews by the droves. You know what I'm saying?
It's not about an individual soldier, or even if he has the SS on his collar or not. They're all a part of that team, and they were following orders, and it was really about national pride.
It was, yes. Okay. And I don't think there was anything wrong with that in the beginning. If things went south, I'll give you that. But like you said, and before World War II began, Hitler was, everybody loved him. Americans loved him. We were like, look at that Hitler guy. He's really whipping up a following. And Germany was, turning around. I don't know what did he do. He ended the reign of the Kaisers. Is that what he did or some shit?
Wait. Oh, what are you talking about? The ones that were, see, that's complicated. It was a lot.
That's like the German emperors, the line of German emperors, and then he started the National Socialistic, whatever, nationalistic party, and it was all about New Germany, not old Germany, not the old aristocracy, but like the new Germany, the working class, and not old money, but new, make your own money and all that stuff. But then things just went south.
But that's what I mean, though. So, but each country. So let's talk about North Korea. What do
Okay.
you know about North Korea?
I mean, a fair amount. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe not more than I don't know. How much do you know? I guess that's it's all relative, right?
Man, I'm so into politics. So global geopolitics is my freaking domain. So, but
Well, then, so I would say I don't know much.
well, the image that North Korea has is that, you know, their leader is a totalitarian and he's crazy. And
No, I mean, I know that, and his father and his grandfather were the leaders before him, and like they're the people of North Korea, they think he's a god, like a living godhead, and they're raised to think that, you know, we in America, we have like teeth like looking vampires, that we're evil, you know, like.
so
And
so
they,
then how does it make you feel? So how do you think about that? So you know that has to do with them, their national pride, and basically their brainwashing. The only thing they can watch on TV is him, and like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
They make them get up in the morning and sing these songs.
Yeah.
How different
I
is
just think
that
there's
from?
such a grave difference. I think it's two oceans apart. Patriotism and brainwashing. You know, like you can have love for your like cheerleaders, and you know, like I got spirit, you got spirit. Yes, we do. Like in high school, like I don't feel like that's brainwashed. You know, it's just like fighting for what you believe. Everybody likes to be part of a team. Because in America, like I don't feel like we're not really having. Well, okay, we are having the wool pull over our eyes, but not to the extent of North Korean citizens. You know, our grocery stores have food in them.
Yeah, but you don't know how much that has to do with what America does with oh man, I'm getting tired. I worked a lot. Fucking like you know how they block shipping, they block trade, they use ships
Sure.
to
Hey, you know what? You know, talking like
blockades.
I can only know what's on the surface, man. I can only take it, you know, for face value.
But that's the point, and that's why I labeled this live stream that ignorance is the oil or grease, or you know, the lubricant of the machine, of the matrix. You
So
know
that's
what I'm
just
saying?
that's just this episode. That's just this episode that's named that.
That's this one named. That's what it is.
Oh.
So in the Matrix, they said ignorance is bliss. The Egyptians said ignorance is evil. Okay, and that's what I say. Like that's where I'm bringing back to the spiritual thing, because people go about their day zombie robots and they're not aware of what's happening, and then they are in their algorithm and they keep receiving their bubble information, and
They're what's the medicine they take in Big Brother? I mean, 1984. They're that drug that they're all on.
Yeah, don't give me the line. Like I say, I suck at those specific type of details.
Yeah, but anyway, it's like Valium or whatever it was. But yeah, drink it the Kool-Aid per se.
Yeah, drink the Kool-Aid. That's what we're doing. We're all drinking our Kool-Aid and we're stuck in our bubble, and we looking at the world through with our bubble, and we have this super narrow ass perspective, and we're completely unaware of what's really happening. And then they feed us this propaganda, and then we trust these people because we trust the authority of these people, and we think they're telling us the truth. And then, you know, so we just take it in, and then we just, you know, but that's what leads to war. That's, you know, they had to have public support. You know, they have to have political will. That's what they're trying to build right now with the Afghanistan thing, because they're trying to pull out of Afghanistan, or appearing that they're trying to pull out of Afghanistan, but they want the political will to stay there. The political will has to come from the people pretty much. And then Congress is like, the people are saying, you know, we need to stay there longer. So we got to stay there longer. So then that's that national pride thing kicking in. And the people are like, yeah, you know, America. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think I do. Sorry, I'm
because World War
III
could happen. That could happen for real. That could be a real thing. And guess what it'll be caused basically from, or basically what the excuse they're going to use is going to be national stuff, national pride, nationalities.
Who would be the allies? Who would be our allies?
Well, things have changed now. So China is not going to be on our side, and
Heck
Russia's not going
no.
to be on our side either.
China's scary, son.
What
China's
did you
frightening.
miss? You mentioned another big player, Iran.
Yeah,
Iran's
Iran.
not gonna, yeah, they're not going to be on our side either. And although all of them are really strong.
Yep.
So, and then the question would be, who would be on our side? Who would, there's no way to answer that. And then the way World War II developed was crazy. So, and I tell everybody, if you want to understand the geopolitics of the world today, you have to go back to World War II, the Treaty of Versailles and all that. And then, the movies Saving Private Ryan is propaganda, bro. Freaking
Damn you, Tom Hanks.
The whole history related to making it look like America won World War II is propaganda.
We
and
did kick ass, though.
We did take that beach, but did that have, how much impact did that have on the war overall?
It wasn't just D-Day. I mean, okay, so the Battle of the Bulge. I mean, so the whole Western Front. We got the United States. We got England, right? And then we got France, kinda, and we got Australia, kinda. Like, the United States and England were doing the majority of the work, And then, Russia really was the one that won it. Actually, Russia's winners are the ones that won it.
That's what I was getting to. I was about to say that, because if it wasn't,
I speak Russian. I love Russia. I have an affinity for Russian culture. Like,
if it wasn't what was happening on the Eastern Front, who knows what would have happened? We might be speaking German right now here in the United States.
I was gonna say, you brought up George Orwell, 1984. What about Philip K. Dick, Man in the High Tower? You know that one? That's the Axis powers. It's a science fiction. The Axis powers win World War II, and America is occupied by Japan and Germany, respectively. Japan has the West Coast, and Germany has the East Coast. And in the middle is like the neutral zone, kind of where like the people who like the rebels go and like kind of rise together. And Germany was the first country to make it to the moon, and they got like squat German astronauts walking around the moon, and like everyone on the West Coast, they practice that German religion the Japanese religion of what is it? The one with the sticks. What's that religion called? It's a form of Buddhism. But anyway, it's just really interesting.
Yeah, so that's what I mean, though, and then so that's what led to the Cold War in the first place, is because of the way we was acting after the war,
Well, the way Russia was acting.
Well, both sides.
Yeah, sure. It couldn't have happened without one or the other. It takes two to tango. You're right.
And if it wasn't for what happened, Fukushima. I recommend everybody study that shit too, because that had a lot to do with the like the Bolshevik resolution or basically the crumbling of the USSR. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Lenin and Stalin, and
that was the domino that fell that led to the whole fucking thing coming down. And it thankfully that happened again, because again, history is lying to us. The United States was not as strong as we like to say that we are, and to this day we're not as strong as like we do have the most money. Our military budget is ridiculous.
We were stronger then than we are now in relation. And like in the 50s, I mean, U.S. was kicking ass and taking names. I mean, sure, some of it was propaganda, but we really were.
I would say you'd have to take it more back to World War I and even like the
pre-depression. You talking about pre-depression, Roaring 20s?
That's when we was kicking ass, because the thing is, a big part of before United States was the United States, one of the first corporations was a gun manufacturer. I can't even think of the name, but I think it still exists today.
Colt Company, Henry Martini, or Colt,
like a rifle
revolver.
It's a no. It had to be a rifle at this time. It had to be a rifle.
Oh, okay, so England, the Redcoats fought with something called a brown bess, and then
Our rifle that we made, I don't know what the name of it is.
To fight in what war?
Won. That's how we won. And you know, because see,
Which
George
war?
Washington. Well, what am I thinking? I'm all over the place. But let's go back to the Revolution.
Okay.
But when United States became a country, George Washington was like, we can't trust these manufacturers in China to make our fucking anything, basically, especially not our damn weapons. They're gonna
we were doing some disrespectful shit. The U.S. was like back in that day, like war had a code. You know, you were supposed to march into battle under fife and a drum, stand in a line, and take turns shooting at each other. You know, and we were the first ones to be like, "No, I'm gonna hide behind a tree and just shoot your ass." Like, it was like the first person who invented lying. Like, it was, of course, we're gonna win. Like, Britain's following rules, and we're not. Like,
I used to, when I first started college, I used to think like that. But
well, what you mean? That what do you mean think like that? That's the way it is, though. Chuck, like, we won because we flipped the game on its head, and we just chose to not follow these standards. You know?
But no, bro, come on. Somebody walking straight in a line, fucking asking to get shot with some damn targets on their chest. The fuck out of here, bro.
But then we both reverted back to that shit to the Civil War. We went back to it. And just
that is lunacy, bro. Regardless
it is.
of the reason
right.
why
You're right, and I don't know why England didn't just say, "Hey, let's hide behind trees like these guys." But
they did make adjustments. That's what I'm telling you, bro.
No, what you're talking about, though. We had a rifle.
Look. This is what I wanted to say. The gun manufacturing is the reason why, bro, and that's leading to World War I and leading into World War II. Boeing, Halliburton,
Northrop Grumman.
Y'all know the names, Black Rock or whatever. But some of these names, if I find the right name, you can go all the way back to then, because like I say, what happened was George Washington was like, we can't have them manufacturing our fucking guns. They're gonna sabotage our shit. We have to make our own fucking shit. That's the only fucking way we can be 100% sure that they're not gonna be we small at this time, and they trying to take on the whole damn empire of England, and they can't trust any of the other countries because they're not even recognized as nobody. They bandits at this time. So they like, okay, fuck that then.
Your voice cracked a little there.
Yeah, I'm smoking. Fucking, I need to drink some more tea. Fucking, he said, so we're gonna manufacture our own fucking shit. So that's what he did. And before United States was a country, one of our first corporations was a rifling corporation, and where and they actually did the metal and fashioned the rifle. You get what I'm saying?
Something I can actually speak on, because I know about guns. And so the word rifle, it refers to the inside of the barrel, and it's the fact that it has grooves on the inside of the barrel. England was shooting a smooth bore musket, a brown bess, and that ball was just banging around the inside of the barrel as it comes out. It's not accurate, and it doesn't shoot far, and it doesn't shoot fast. Because of the rifling, it's like throwing a spiral on a football. Now you can shoot people up to 3.25 miles away. So we can snipe. We can do our guerrilla style of warfare because of this rifle.
That's it. And we came up with the Maxim gun?
Yeah, Maxim machine gun. Fucking slaughter, man. That's a Gatling gun. It's a Gatling gun. Yeah.
And then there's others. So
it's still used on the A-30, the Warthog, or the A-10. You know the Warthog, the ground attack airplane that the Air Force uses. Burt, that one that goes Burt.
Yeah.
That's a Maxim up in its mouth. It's just a new age Maxim.
Anyway,
so many African people got killed by the Maxim.
Yes, that's what I was about to say too. So you said it already, but that's how they took over the Congo.
Oh yeah.
That's how they took over major parts of Africa, because nobody had a better fucking weapon than that. What the fuck? They just mowed people down. And see, that's the
That was
thing.
the time in history when weapon had surpassed like defense, just like by so far. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but there's multiple and this is our history. That's why the whole thing, America, da 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 da, that's a real thing. We lead in that. If we, and you know, whenever there's a war almost anywhere in the world, most likely we're selling at least the vests or the bullets, the helmets. We got monopolies on that shit, bro.
I mean, surplus.
We got nobody is getting that from nowhere else but from us, bro. Unless it's like Soviet country or a country.
Yeah,
that
we got the
don't
good
get
stuff,
shit
man. We don't want that
from us.
Soviet knockoff. We got that good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, you know, you got those countries that get their weapons from them because those are our they compete with us because that's kind of what was happening in Syria. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. It was a proxy war kind of between the United States and Russia happening in Syria, and it had to do with
Serbia or Syria? Serbia or Syria?
I'm talking about Syria.
Okay.
And it had to do with pipelines and it had to do with weapons because Russia will be like, hey, we'll sell you weapons, boom, 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 we'll sell you weapons, and they probably sell them cheaper or whoever. You know how it goes. It's like drug deals.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the United States, though, we have the top of the line, best of the best. If you want the best Kevlar or whatever, you're getting it from us.
This shit's pure, son. It ain't even stepped on, not once. It's the purest of the pure Kevlar, you know?
So
not cut.
I don't know all those details, like, you know.
No, I don't either. I was making a comparison to drugs again. I was saying, like, you know, it's 100%. It's pure, you know.
Yeah.
Compared to the Soviet Union.
From the, you know, the stuff that I study, and I study from overall kind of. So I don't get into those like really close details of the names of stuff like that, like I said before. And so, like, but I do know that, like, you know, those companies, the ones that I mentioned, like, that is how we won. That is how we won almost every time. And then it goes along with the banks, because that's the other thing that we are involved in. And it's like the money laundering type thing where, you know, but you know what, I think a lot of people, the reason why I want, this is what, before we end, because I don't know how long you're going to have, but I want to get a point across to you and our listeners that's been listening this whole time. A reason why I'm kind of hating on nationality or whatever. The thing is, what a lot of people don't understand is even the governments don't believe in this nationality stuff. It's more of corporations, right? The big corporations, these major corporations, these conglomerates, they're the ones that really rule the world. It's not government. But also, in a lot of instances, in most instances, you have a hard time detangling the government from these major corporations. It's the same board members, it's the same CEOs, it's the same CFOs, that it's the same lobbyists that rotate out in and out of these revolving doors from the positions of the government and these big companies, especially the arms companies, the pharmaceutical industry, and the agriculture industry, because these are the ones that's fucking running this fucking shit. Okay, so that's what the thing people have to understand. When the whole nationality thing is manipulating people and giving them propaganda just so they can turn them into zombie robots so they can be used, so these major corporations can use them however they want, because they are the ones who's running it and they don't care. You think Walmart or freaking Apple gives a damn about like the United States or, you know, the national pride or whatever the hell? These big companies already moving most of the well-paying good jobs overseas to India and to China. Africa's coming up too.
Okay, but yeah, Lagos is the fastest growing city in the world. At least that's what I heard from a podcast. But these things, like you say, Walmart Walmart doesn't care. Amazon doesn't care. Walmart isn't a person. Amazon isn't a person. Amazon is Jeff Bezos. But like these CFOs, these CEOs at the top, like I bet they have a family, and I bet they get the same warm fuzzies that we all get when we think about nostalgia and we think about, you know, national pride and patriotism and little league fucking baseball and all that good shit. Like they're not robots. They have,
I can't
you know,
disagree
human
with
emotions
that.
too.
But their decisions are gonna be.
They're just lucky. They're just wealthy. They're just their decisions do affect the entire world.
Listen, but their decisions are gonna be in the best interest of the corporation, and the corporation don't give a damn about nationality.
I get what you're saying as far as like they like to have the whole country feeling one some type of way, so that, you know, if we need an excuse to go to war, all we got to do is pretend like, you know, oh, they dissed us, they disrespected us, you know, now we got to go handle business. Like that is true, you know. You can't go to war if your country's not behind you.
And guess who benefits? Guess where all this money is going? Raytheon, Boeing,
Northrop Grumman.
If there's no fighting, they don't have bullets to sell. They got business. They need to make money. They need to make profit every year. Build a new helicopter. Build a new fucking, I don't know. That's what the space race, you know, that's going to be the, what do they say? The space fucking military space shit that Trump introduced. But you know they're going to keep on rolling. That shit going to be rolling. That's a great idea, because that's another way to pour money into nothing, basically, you know, into space. Literally.
Yeah, no shit.
Because the money just going to pour into the pockets of Raytheon and them. Period. They're going to be saying, we building some shit. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Shit, man.
And like I say, so the war, Afghanistan, World War III, possibly. These people don't give a damn about who dies. They making money, profit. They don't care about which nation it is that hurts. Who dies in which nation? As long as they profit margin is right for this quarter and for the next quarter, and profits over last year looks good.
Yeah. Oh man, how often do you do this thing?
What do you say? How often
How
do
can
I
you-
like you talking about this?
The show, the show.
How often do I do it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to get a schedule, but school just started, and I got classes like all day Monday and all day Tuesday. So I think what I'm gonna do is I think it's gonna be I'm probably gonna do like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday show, some shit like that. I like
3 shows or just one day that week, one of those days?
No, I'm probably gonna do at least 2 or 3 shows a week.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm still growing the channel, so that's what I really need. I'm fighting against the algorithm too, so I need to
Because you know, we've been talking a lot tonight, and I don't want to jump into that story that I got now. You know, after all that, I'm tired. You know, as I said, but like I will share it, and I've got others, man. I've got some graphic, just some terrible, just like
Well, wait.
terribly
Before
real
you go,
experiences. You know.
Wait. Before you go, let me ask you the question I always ask everyone.
Okay.
You know, like I say, I do this channel in a way that I feel like everyone learns from everyone, and I feel like everyone has something to teach or knowledge to give. You know what I'm saying? Special, like, you know, professional, like, intricate knowledge, right? Because we all have different experiences, and you know, because of that, those experiences that we have, we gain knowledge, right? So what I like to ask everyone is like, what do you have that you would like to share with the people that, you know, is something that you learned throughout your life, throughout the rabbit holes that you've been through, and throughout the experiences and trials and tribulations that you've been through, that you can share with people that you think will help them on their journey.
Are you asking for like a moral, or like what I could teach a master class on?
No, it can't be a master class because you don't have that much time, and it doesn't.
No,
have to be
I don't mean an actual master. I'm asking what you
know a lot about.
Okay, what do I know? Yeah, okay. Woodworking and the natural world. Like I know a lot about animals. I've been trapping since I was like a kid. I know a lot about animals just because I'm really interested in them too. Like I've always just read books about animals.
Yeah, but what I mean is, what do you know? Using the knowledge that you've gained, what can you share with people? Like that can hopefully keep them from making a mistake or.
Okay, so yeah, you want a moral, like empathy, man. That's like the biggest thing. Just like there's two sides to every coin, man. You got to slow down. Like whatever you're feeling, someone else is feeling something too. So before you fucking fly off the handle, take a beat, look around, think about how that person is experiencing what you're experiencing, and they could be experiencing things, like that thing where two people are sitting from across each other and they got a spear between them, half of it's black, half of it's white, but they can only see the one color, and they can argue till they're blue in the face. Hey, it's black. Hey, it's white. Hey, it's black. Hey, it's white. Until you go around and look at it from there, you don't know. It's a completely different color,
Yeah.
I don't think any personal belief is worth hurting people. It's not okay to hurt people, man. It's not okay to say hurtful things. Like you can stop, you can keep that from happening. Like it gets you nowhere. Like cutting people down gets you nowhere. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So your message is, be kind.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, be kind. That's good. That's
good. Real simple, 2 words.
Mr. Rogers type shit.
Yeah, man. The guy that used to draw paint the little happy trees. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, fucking Bob Ross. I love Bob Ross, man.
Oh man, I was mesmerized with that shit, bro.
Yeah, you got to beat the devil out of it. He beat his paintbrush.
Make a little happy little trees. He looks lonely. I'm gonna give him some friends.
Don't you tell anybody about this secret bush here. This secret bush is gonna be our secret bush. And he would dip his paintbrush in the water, and then he'd beat it before he'd do a different color. He'd go, you just beat the devil out of it. I got a Bob Ross puzzle. I might fucking work with that.
Yeah, man. I love that guy, man.
Oh shit! All right, you work tomorrow, Chucky?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll see you, bud.
All right, bro, man. I appreciate your time, man. Thank you for.
Yeah, dude. I'll get the swing of it. I mean, I'd be down to do this again.
Cool, man. I love to have you back, man.
All right, yeah, cool.
To get you to tell your story and get you perspective on some racial stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I'll try not to bogart the conversation. Swing it in a way in which it wasn't meant to be swung. Good night, all. Good night, dude. That's listening to us. I ain't never had nobody listen to me. See you.
All right, man. Peace. Thank y'all for listening too.
Kick me out of here. How do I get out of here?
He was stuck in the Matrix. It's getting late, y'all. Peace and love. Thank y'all for joining me. Like I say all the time, you find something that you don't like out there in the world. You don't have to know a lot of things. I'm trying to teach leaders or create leaders, but that's education is a big part of it. That's why I do a lot of education or try to on this channel. But knowledge isn't everything. Just going out there and trying to make something happen, because you'll figure it out as you go. You'll work it out as you go. You'll learn as you go, and you'll, being out there on the street, that knowledge is better than anything I can say or any book you can read. Going out there and just trying to make something happen. And then you can come back and tell us on the channel what you learned and how you did it and all that, and we can share it with other people, and then they can do it in their community. And I'd love to see people do this all over the world. Just go out and try to make something happen, you know. Care, man. I love y'all. Peace. Till next time.